Lagos State Ministries of Physical Planning, Health meet with Africa Development Bank on sustainable system projects. Senate screens Kekere for appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria. On the 1400s die from cholera as war rages in Sudan. And in sports, UEFA strips San Siro of hosting 2026-2027 Champions League final. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. The Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development has met with the Lagos State Ministry of Health and the Africa Development Bank AFDB to explore ways of strengthening the sustainability of health systems project preparation in Lagos State. Speaking at the meeting, a Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Oluyinka Olumide, said physical planning is critical to any meaningful development and should be the first port of call as far as project preparation is concerned. He noted that the relevance of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development to all development projects in the state is signified by its important roles in site selection and delivery of project sites. The Commissioner stated that the Ministry had also approved designs and monitored construction to ensure compliance with zoning and other provisions of master plans and physical planning regulations. Earlier, the Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, who facilitated the meeting, said the visit was to explore greater collaboration for strengthening the sustainability of health system projects in Lagos State. Africa Development Bank team lead Babatunde Umilola, who expressed his satisfaction with the development in Lagos State, said the AFDB was out to promote economic growth and integration on the continent. The Lagos State Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board LSCPWB has held a one-day seminar for operation staff in preparation for a hitch-free pilgrimage exercise to the Holy Lands coming up soon. The seminar, which was held at the Chapel of Christ the Light, Alausa, Ikeja, was aimed at ensuring that the operations staff were enlightened about their roles and responsibilities during the pilgrimage exercise. The board secretary of LSCPWB, Yetuni Bafe, while addressing participants, stated that they had been carefully selected from amongst medical and media practitioners, administrators, and clerics who will be seeing to the physical and spiritual well-being of the pilgrims while on pilgrimage. Bafe stated that participants should consider this call to serve as an avenue to appreciate the Lagos State government for the immense support received and be prepared to render excellent service delivery to the pilgrims. Members of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have approved the design for the Lagos-Abidjan Corridor Highway Development Project. The approval was given during a meeting which was chaired by Nigeria's Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, in Lagos State. The group also said it will initiate the procurement process for the project, which is expected to cost $15 billion and deepen regional economic integration at its next meeting. On his part, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Ghana, Francis Bwake, emphasized the importance of infrastructure, particularly roads, in driving socio-economic development. The Lagos-Abidjan Corridor Highway, scheduled to begin in 2025, is part of the Greater Dakar-Lagos Corridor and one of the flagship priority development programs of ECOWAS. The about 1,068-kilometer project, financed by the African Development Bank, will cover 5 ECOWAS member countries, namely Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic, and Nigeria, and will traverse 8 border towns. And now to the rest of the stories. The acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere, has appeared before lawmakers at the Senate for screening and confirmation as the substantive CJN. The screening followed the receipt of a letter from President Bola Tinubu, which was presented during Tuesday's plenary session by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. During the session today, Kekere declared that all pre-election matters must be concluded at the Court of Appeal. She also frowned against corruption in the judiciary, stating she would not tolerate any form of it. Kekere had been serving in an acting capacity since August following the retirement of Justice Olukayode Ariwola. She will become Nigeria's 23rd substantive Chief Justice and the second female to hold the position in the nation's history. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has issued a 14-day strike warning ultimatum to the federal government to resolve some lingering issues dating as far back as 2009. ASU President Emmanuel Osadeke, in a statement, said the body is seeking the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 federal government ASU agreement based on the Nimi Briggs Committee's draft agreement of 2021. It also demanded the release of withheld salaries due to the 2022 strike and expressed frustration with the government's lack of commitment and delay tactics. It stated that these actions were generating a crisis in the public university system. ASU is also demanding the release of unpaid salaries for staff on sabbatical, part-time and adjunct appointments affected by the integrated payroll and personnel information system and the payment of outstanding third-party deductions such as check-off dues and cooperative contributions, amongst other issues. The Albinism Association of Nigeria, AAN, has called for a review and implementation of the National Albinism Policy to promote social inclusion, economic empowerment, and access to education and healthcare for individuals with albinism. President of the association, also doubles as its executive director, Bisi Bamishe, said the National Albinism Policy represents a milestone in the organization's efforts to ensure that persons with albinism, PWAs in Nigeria, are recognized, respected, and supported by society, as well as the three tiers of government. Bamishe stated this during a one-day interactive meeting with the media aimed at promoting awareness, addressing misconceptions, and fostering advocacy for the rights and welfare of PWAs in Nigeria, and to amplify the provisions of the National Albinism Policy. According to her, the need to ensure review and implementation is necessary because of the prevailing negative circumstances faced by PWAs. Bamishe, who acknowledged the critical role of the media in shaping public perception and dispelling myths about albinism, emphasized the need for accurate reporting and sustained advocacy to improve the quality of life for PWAs. Also speaking, Lagos State Chairman of Albinism Association of Nigeria, Motolani Ojuri, said the association was working towards promoting the rights, welfare, and empowerment of individuals. And now to foreign news. Sudan's health ministry says more than 430 people have died from cholera in the past month as civil war continues to ravage the country. The health ministry says the number of infections have risen to about 14,000 as it is doing all it can to combat cholera in the affected states amid the rise in infections. According to the U.S. Special Envoy for Sudan, Tom Perriello, getting treatment to those affected areas is hugely complicated by the conflict, which has killed up to 150,000 people since it began last year. Sudan has been embroiled in a war since the army and a powerful paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, began a vicious struggle for power in April 2023, leading to what the UN has called one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Now, sports. The Union of European Football Associations, UEFA, will reopen the bidding to host the 2027 Men's Champions League final after the match was taken away from the famous San Siro Stadium in Milan. European football's governing body has gone back to the drawing board after authorities in the Italian city could not offer guarantees that refurbishment work at San Siro Stadium and the surrounding areas will not affect the match. The football body indicated in May that a decision on the 2027 final host was being postponed, subject to receiving the necessary guarantees around San Siro refurbishment. Now, a decision on a new host is now expected in May or June next year. The last time the San Siro hosted the Champions League final was in 2016 when Spanish giants Real Madrid edged city rivals Atletico in a penalty shootout. And that's all for the news at 4. Slow down at road junctions, intersections, and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Minister of Physical Planning and Urban Development has met with the Lagos State Ministry of Health and the Africa Development Bank, AFDB, to explore ways of strengthening the sustainability of health systems project preparation in Lagos State. The Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, has appeared before lawmakers at the Senate for screening and confirmation as the substantive CJN. We also told you that Sudan's health ministry says more than 430 people have died from cholera in the past month as civil war continues to ravage the country. And in sports, the Union of European Football Associations, UEFA, will reopen the bidding to host the 2027 Men's Champions League final after the match was taken away from the famous San Siro Stadium in Milan. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagun. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good afternoon.